day. Another beautiful day here in Oregon. We got sunny weather. It was a little cloudy this morning, but it turned out to be a really nice day. But unfortunately, I don't get to play out there right now. I'm playing in the house. I'll show you my little project for the day. It's in the kids' bathroom. It's that thing right there. So it started leaking over the weekend, and my granddaughter, Gracie, she actually found the leak, heard it leaking, and came running down to tell me that there was water dripping under the sink. So I thought that was pretty bright of her, a very grown up little girl. I appreciated that. Could have caused a big mess. But I had initially thought, just looking at it, that it was either leaking from the drain there, or maybe the plumber's putty let go, or the gasket on the underside of the sink. So I went to the hardware store and bought some plumber's putty and some thread sealer and a new gasket for the bottom of the sink, and changed it all out, put it all back together, and it still leaked. And it should have gone under there a little farther, but it ended up leaking from what it appeared. It was from the body of the faucet up here, because it was dripping through the holes that are through the porcelain sink. And so that meant I had to disassemble everything, disconnect the water lines, and pull the faucet up. So I'll show you what that looked like and what was involved, and how I think I fixed it. Be right back. So before I pull this assembly off here, I'll show you what I did to get it to look like that. I took the little chrome cover off. They come off pretty easy. Once you pull the fixture up off the sink, after you've disconnected the hot and cold supply lines, there's two screws that are right there, Phillips screws, and they mount to those two screw holes there. Once you pull that off, you've got a set screw on the stem. So the stem sits in there like that. Well, if you turn it sideways, you'll see this hole right there. And there's a little set screw that you take an Allen wrench in there and undo that set screw, and then that will pull off of there, and then you can get this body up off once you pull those two screws. There's also a little gasket or a cover that covers the bottom of it. You have to pull this off, but that just pops off. Pretty simple. And then once you do all that, you get down to this point, and let's pull these three screws here and see what's under there. So I've shut the valves off on the bottom. I don't have water running all over the place. Sorry for the echo, but I'm in the bathroom, so I'm going to get some echo here. So these are just some little machine screws. So I didn't notice when I took them off the first time if they were super snug. They didn't seem to be. And of course this is still dripping because the valves don't shut the water off. In fact, I'll try retightening these guys. So what you have are these three little, they're almost like an O-ring. One for the cold, one for the hot, and then this one shuts off for both of them. So I think the feed comes in through here and then distributes it to the side that you want, whether it's hot or the cold. And my thought was that these seals or rubber bushings were probably bad. This one popped out the first time I pulled it apart. It just came out. So I just pushed it back in. I did clean the surface, but I didn't really do anything. I didn't flip them around backwards, which I probably could do. I didn't pull either of these two out, but that one did come out and I just pushed it back in. And it's got a, when you put it back in, it's got a centering pin that'll go into this hole here, so you know where to put it. But I didn't really do anything to these rings, short of possibly tightening these screws down tighter, which made it seal better. But I didn't see any water leaking from the brass, like there had been a pinhole or something that showed up. So I want to put this back together. Still got water flowing out because the valves don't want to shut off. Yeah, you'll just center that pin up with that hole and reinstall the screws. So the 3 screws are back in. I'm going to turn the water back on, take a look at it. Cold is on. And the hot is on. Yeah, go ahead and turn the water on. So before, when I turned the water on, the water was really leaking out from underneath the sink at this point here. I'm not seeing any water like from a pinhole where the brass is turned, been oxidized. I'm not seeing any water around the base of this. It's possible that these 3 screws had worked their way loose, and this valve assembly here wasn't seating tight to the brass. That's the only thing I can think of. Should I replace it? Yeah. Should I replace both of them? Yes. Should I replace all 4 water shutoff valves? Yes. But I'm not. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm sure I'll have to do it eventually. It'll rear its ugly head someday that there'll be water under there, and I'll have to take care of it. But for now, I don't see any water leaking. We'll see how long it lasts, and if I gotta change it all, I'll make another video. But no, I'm not a big fan of plumbing. This is one reason why. When I went to Home Depot to buy that rubber gasket that went to the bottom of the sink, they didn't have one, just separately. So I bought this kit, and I didn't even look at the kit. I was just more concerned about, buying the rubber gasket. But I noticed this thing, it says clog-free pop-up drain. So I didn't have any intentions of using this thing, but I sort of opened it up. I was wondering, what the heck do they mean by clog-free pop-up drain? And it's sort of a neat idea, sort of show you what it does, but not sure it'll actually work. But it's a pretty neat idea. So almost all sinks have this type of a stopper. It goes down into the stem, and then you'll have this little ball assembly, and it goes into that hole in the stopper. When you pull up on the rod, the little stopper will go up and down. Sort of like that, and that's how water gets out of the sink when you're done using it. The problem with that is that rod goes into the drain, and you always end up with stuff getting hung up on it, caught. You have tons of hair stuck on that, and it's just a problem point for the drain. So this kit here came with a different idea, which was pretty novel. Their stopper it's magnetic, which I went, what the heck? And I didn't even realize it till I got the kit out, and I noticed it was stuck to the drain. I went, what the heck is this all about? So I actually read the directions on it, And it's pretty cool. You slide that stopper down in there, line it up, with that hole there, and then you have your own little ball, but it doesn't go all the way into the drain. So this has got a fine pointer on it, and on the stopper are these little ridges here. So when it's in the drain, this pointy part of the plunger makes contact with it. It's stuck pretty good. It's a pretty strong magnet. And then as you raise and lower, it's just a magnet that's sticking this to that in order to lift the plunger up and pull the plunger down. Show you here. You just align it up with the ridges to the back of the make sure you got the ridges to the back. Push the plunger in, you push the ball in, it makes contact with those ridges, and then as you go up and down, it'll raise and lower the plunger. But what I was seeing after 10 or 20 times, the plunger just sort of skipped a tooth there and it wouldn't seat all the way down. I don't know if it all works when it's all together. Kind of doubt it. It's more of a gimmick, but it's definitely different because, with the assembly, you don't have that rod inside the drain. So in theory, it's a pretty neat idea. I just don't know how well it would work over, 20 years. I just think it would skip a tooth or it would get loose and you'd always have to keep pushing it down to seal it. But it was pretty cool. Figured I'd show you that one. Well, she's all back together. And I don't know how long it'll last, but there's no leaks yet. I'll keep an eye on it. It'll probably have to be changed out someday, but for now, it don't leak. And it matches that one. So, on to the next project. Thanks for watching.